my friend who's not knitting told me I almost want to start knitting now. Oh my God, I can't believe that you didn't buy half the store. This is amazing. Hi there, and welcome back to LiseLight. My name is Lisa, and on this channel, I basically share mostly a lot of knitting, a little bit of other creative endeavors. So welcome. And today is going to be a regular podcast episode. I don't have very many finished objects, to be honest, but I have some fun improvements I've done to garments, just some practical stuff. I have also some considerations on what I have going on. I have a couple of almost finished objects. Before we get started, there are two things that we got to do. The first thing is please subscribe. It really helps my channel out. It's lovely when you want to support my channel. And also, I usually do a Danish word or expression of the day. And today, of course, we're going to do that as well. And the word of today is knitting related. Somebody in the comments kindly suggested that could be a fun thing to do. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of episodes. So for the Danish word or expression of the day, I have chosen the word for a knitting needle because we call it, directly translated, we call it a knitting pen, actually, or stick, a knitting stick, I would probably translate it as. And the Danish word is strikke, which is knitting, pin. Pin is stick. It was so interesting to me when I found out that it's called a knitting needle, because and I don't know if pin, stick is a more saying word, but you could say traditionally knitting needles were not the cabled ones that we have now. I don't think they would have had a way to do those. So they would just be regular sticks, either for socks, like the double pointed needles, or just the regular old fashioned jumper needle sticks. A lot of people still refer to knitting as this is like the real way of knitting. I'm trying to explain. I often hear, oh, I love the sound of the big knitting needles. And I'm like, yeah, but it's going to kill your wrist. So nobody really loves those anymore. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Actually, once in a while, I see people knitting on those. So they probably have a place still for some people, but I can definitely see the advantage of knitting with a cabled needle. I usually do that. Then I use a couple of my double, like the DPNs. I use those, when you do an I-cord edge, for example, they're really practical. I don't use them for socks because I'd rather do magic loop, but that's a matter of preference and taste, I believe. So strikke pin is just the Danish word for knitting needle. So with that out of the way, I think we're about ready to go on with the episode. And I will start with what I'm wearing because this is not a new item. This is my Eva cardigan that I knit. I don't know. It's a long time ago. It's a petite knit model. It's a classic. You can see with the buttons down front, I've chosen these. They are, I think, plastic, but supposedly looking like wooden buttons. And I knit this. And then if you remember, I changed not too long ago, I changed my garden pullover from a pullover to a cardigan. And I mean, that turned out so amazing. I can link the episode where I did it in the cards if you're interested. But lovely process. It was actually easier than I had thought. It turned out amazing. I love that cardigan now. And the thing is, that cardigan has the exact same color and yarn as this one. It's the exact same. I had so much left over. It's 100% DK weight wool from a Danish company called Vedils. I think it's produced in New Zealand, so it's not like it's Danish wool, but it's a Danish company. And it's very inexpensive. I got, they usually have a lot of good deals. Even when you pay full price, it's a pretty good deal. But I think I got a whole kilo of this yarn for, I don't know, 300 Danish kroners or something like that. I can put on the screen what that amounts to in US dollars. So very inexpensive, and it's a little bit rustic, but kind of just, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it's not too heavy. It's I think the stitch definition is pretty nice, as you can see. There's a fluff here. Sorry about that. Well, I don't need to take that away now, but you know how that goes. Um, it's pretty good. But then I ended up thinking, well, now I have two dark brown cardigans. That's a little much, maybe. That wasn't the intention. And then I remembered that, and I don't have the book with me now, but I'll pop in a photo of it on the screen. I bought a book from a Danish author couple, like last year, I think I bought the book. That has some knitting patterns, but also she is a big proponent for embroidering on your knit in different ways. She has different models in the book. It's pretty neat. And she had this flower that she had embroidered, I think, on the back of a sweater or something like that. And hers have different colors. But I just decided that could be kind of fun just to do that on one side of the cardigan. I'll just try to get a little closer just so you can see. It's actually pretty simple, but what I did was I copied more or less the flower from the book. It had a diagram of a line drawing of the flower, so you could copy it and use it. And then I transferred it over to, or actually, I thought first that I was going to go with, I don't even know, the like see-through pattern paper, and then transferred over to it's a soluble material that I thought you were going to iron it on, but you actually don't. You just stitch it on with, what do you call those stitches? Like, big scissors are not meant to stay, but just to keep it in place. Because I was trying, and I'm glad I did a test, because I thought, since it's in the same family as the interfacing that you iron onto your garments, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But I did a little test, and what happened was the material just shrunk. The whole deal with this material, the idea is that you put it on and you use it as sort of your guide to where you want to embroider this motif, and then you put it in water at the end, and then it dissolves. So I guess the heat from the iron just made it shrink down. So my motif would have been this big if I had done that. So I fortunately found that out and looked it up and figured out that that's not the way to go. So I just transferred the motif. It's see-through, so I could put it over the motif in the book. I did my outline of it, more or less, and then I just cut out, so I only had a little bit excess around the edges, and then I batch stitch. Is that what it's called? No, it's called something else. I apologize, I can't remember the English word for it, but I just sort of hand stitched around the motif so that this piece of paper would stick, or it's not paper, it's sort of like a fabric-like thing. And then I just started doing my stitches, and I just went ham on it in the way that I felt like. So I did, I used wool, like also DK weight wool for the most of it. I did a white outline of the leaves, and then the dark brown is just the cardigan. And then I did some rosed, like almost copper colored in the rose color in the middle. This mohair in here. And then I did little green, I used some green yarn to do a little bit of detail here. I did light brown and another brown round here and here. And I just sort of went around it till I felt like it was good enough. I think you can easily keep going on it. I mean, I think the more little stitches you do in different colors, the more depth and definition you get into it. So I think that's pretty cool. And so, yeah, and then I dissolved the paper, and this is what I ended up with. So I'm really happy with it. My idea is now, I don't know if I'm going to do it. My friend advised me not to. She felt it would be too much, but I almost felt like making just two small butterflies over here on this sleeve. Just not huge ones, just little ones like flying up so that they were on their way over to this flower. Maybe even going like this way and back here or something. But let me know what you think. Is that too much? Because I think there is a tendency with this type of thing, you can definitely go overboard, and then it turns into something that's just a little maybe not as cute. And I don't want it to look like I need it to be just right. And as it is now, I feel like it's pretty. It's a fun detail. I made it go over the raglan, so it's a little bit on the sleeve and mostly on the front here. Or is it a raglan? I can't even remember. Is it? Yeah, it is a raglan. It goes over that. But it was so fun. So highly recommend. And you can basically find so many motifs. You can hand draw it yourself. I think I would just suggest not going too like with tiny little details, because that may be difficult, because it also, she advises you, also depending on what you're embroidering on, of course, if you do your stitches too small, they're simply going to disappear into the knit. So take that into mind when you choose your motif and the material you're embroidering on. But the fabric type interfacing thing in between made it pretty easy also not to stretch it too much. I didn't use any embroidery rings or anything like that. I just went for it and just made sure not to tighten too much so that it would all shrink together. But once I dissolved it, it was perfect. So highly recommend. I thought it was so much fun. Another like semi-finished object that I want to tell you about is this beauty. And I'll pop on the screen because it's a knitting for olive pattern, and I keep forgetting what it's called, but I'll pop on the name of it. This neckline is apparently third time is a charm, because I have redone this neckline for the third time. The pattern it's meant to be like a high funnel neck, which I love. I think it's still my favorite look to this sweater. I think it's amazing. It looks great. It's perfect. It's actually a beautiful sweater with this lace motif, and it's I've done it with I held the same yarn as this, actually, together with a silk mohair. So it's very, very soft and has this beautiful halo, as you can see, a lot of fluff to it, but in, this luxurious way. My issue with the high funnel neck was I got makeup over it. I mean, no matter how hard I tried, just from it rubbing, because the funnel neck went up to here. And it just, I mean, every time I moved, I had this constant edge of makeup smear on the color. And in this cream color, that does not look good. So I saw somebody on Instagram who had done the same sweater, and she had opted to do a folded over neckline instead. And I figured, why not? I'll do that. So I unraveled quite a lot of the neckline and folded it over. And the first attempt, this was a little higher. I think I went up to like here, probably a centimeter more than this. So quite a big, chunky folded over neckline. And that could have probably worked, but I didn't really like that too much. But what I really did not like was that I had just had I sewn down the neck. I think it's a little bit of a pain to knit down a collar, to be honest. I don't love that that way of doing it, but then again, it just it looks great in the end. But what happened was, the way I had done it, it was not elastic. So I could hardly pull it over my head. So my trouble with the makeup continued, basically, because every time I try to put it on or remove it, if I need to take it off during the day, I wouldn't be able to get it over my head without like squeezing it over my face. And so I was ending up with the exact same result. And the conclusion was that this just ended up in my closet, which makes me sad because I really, really like this sweater. It's got sort of like a cinched in ribbing and just big sleeves, and it's a little bit baggy, but not like crazy oversized. And then it was staring at me for all summer. I didn't use it. I didn't use it much last year either, because it just does not look delicious when you have makeup on your cream colored sweater. It's just not a good look. And so I just grabbed it, I think last weekend, and thought, what the heck? I'm already in my process of improving stuff. I'll go for it. And so I did it again. I unraveled a couple of rows more, because I liked it to be a little less substantial. And then I used a bind off method that I may have. Now I can't remember if I've talked about it. I had an episode with knitting techniques. I think I might have mentioned it there. But the whole deal is, if I didn't mention, I'll just briefly talk about what I do. Instead of when you bind off regularly, you know how even if you bind off in pattern, you would go like this is a double ribbing. So you would go one knit, and then you would pull the one knit stitch over the other one, do the purl stitch one over, do the purl stitch one over, and so forth. And I think that's what I did with the second attempt, or maybe I actually, who knows, maybe I sewed it down. I can't remember. But then I found this tutorial. I think it was Nimble Needles. I think I mentioned it in my technique video. I'll link that as well. But what he does there is you still do your first two knits, and then instead of taking one knit and passing it over the other, you actually knit through the back loop of both of the first two stitches. So you keep, and then you do a purl, and then you purl through the two stitches together, do another purl through the two stitches, do a knit, and then knit through two of the stitches in the back loop. It sounds complicated. It's really not. It's very easy. And the result is brilliant, because now it has the stretch that I need it to have without it being, it's not floppy all over the place, but it's pretty perfect. So now I intend to use this a lot. And I mean, just a little change like that. I don't know if you're like me. Sometimes it basically sucks to go back to change something that you feel like you have already finished. But it's so worth it, because like I wasn't using the Eva cardigan as much. Now I reach for it because I love this detail, and you can make it match with different things. I think that's really cute. It's subtle, but it definitely makes it stand out from the other cardigan. Now they're not like two similar pieces. They're very different now. And the same thing with the sweater, just a little change like that. And now I suddenly want to use it. So those were sort of the bigger things that I feel, small changes that made a pretty big change for me. For true finished objects, I have my little socks. I can't remember if I don't think I had finished them completely last time. So yeah, just a vanilla sock in variegated yarn. I think it is what you would call pooling of the colors, the way it's collecting like this. I don't really mind. I mean, they're just socks. It was pretty cheap sock yarn, but it somehow it works. It feels very nice, and they're so pleasant to wear. So I did the shadow wrapped heel, just a regular twisted rib cuff. And yeah, just not much to report about these. I like them. So yet another pair of homemade socks in my collection, and I love it. So and then the next half finished object is I'm knitting I went on a trip to Amsterdam, and I'll come back to that as well. And I started a pair of socks, the slow morning socks that I talked about in my gift knitting video. I'll link that as well. And I managed to make a whole sock. It looks a little sad because it hasn't been blocked or anything, so it just looks kind of silly because it's double ribbing, so it's all scrunched up here. But I did a whole sock, and I'm this far on the cuff, so approaching the heel on the second one. So good progress being made, and it's just a good little project to bring with me on a trip. And then the next one, it's really difficult to show. I'll show the finished product next time on the podcast. But my let's see. Well, I completely disappear when I. It's so funny when you show something black. It just it takes the whole show. It's the Wednesday sweater that I have from Petite Knit that I have modified. I've talked about it before. It's for my daughter. I've done the ribbing on one sleeve. There's a lot of fluff all over the place. I've finished the body, the collar, and I'm at this point on the second sleeve where I need, I think, about this much, and then the ribbing. It could have been done before, but I needed to try it on my daughter and wanted to be absolutely sure that the sleeve length was perfect. It's a little more snug on her at the moment, but I think when I block it, I think it's going to be absolutely perfect. And she already loves it. So I don't think there's going to be any complaints there. Moving right along, and this is where I would love to get your opinion on this. I am knitting the Electrine pullover. I'll pop in a photo so you can see what it looks like. It's a beautiful piece with just a simple neckline, as you can see, a little bit rounded, and then beautifully shaped shoulders, and then down on the body and on the end of the sleeves, you have this beautiful lace motif. So a great combination of something relatively classic and simple, and then the lace to just make it stand out. And I love that look. My issue here, I've had to do some changes because my gauge was off because I'm only knitting with one strand of this blend. Oh, looks really messy. Of this cashmere and merino and cashmere, I believe it is. And it's so soft and squishy, and I don't want to hold it with anything. I wanted a luxurious blouse that I can use without having to wear anything under it. And this is where my problem comes in, because according to the pattern, backing up, that meant that I sized up because I couldn't quite hit gauge. I like the fabric the drape of it as it is. I think it looks great. It's very soft and squishy and forgiving. But I decided to size up. I was actually measurement-wise, if I didn't want a lot of positive ease, I was going to go for a medium, which is basically never happens for me. Because I don't want a lot of positive ease in it. I decided to size up to a large just because my gauge is a little bit off. And I was kind of trying to do a little bit of math and figuring out, I think that will work out. And it does look like it is. I'll pop in a little video of me trying it on. And this is definitely me contemplating. I look very serious, but I'm definitely contemplating what to do now. Because I've already knit it a little bit longer than the pattern calls for. Because I think my arm hole is a little bit tighter, probably because of the gauge stuff. And I'm not mad about that. I kind of like that it's more tight fitting up here, and then it turns out bigger. And I don't think it's going to be too snug. That's going to be something I try on when I start doing the sleeves, but I think it's going to fit perfectly. You were only meant to do, I think, 12 to 13 centimeters before you start the lace. I opted to go longer because my issue is that you can see me trying it on, and I'm showing you with my fingers where my belly button is. I am not loving the thought of having open lace right at my stomach, to be honest. And I mean, I'm not mad about my body at all, but I definitely do not want to show off my belly to the world at the moment. So it may not be an issue when it comes down to it, but I don't want to have to use a camisole or something under this. I want to be able to use it just with a bra and nothing else, because it's soft enough and it's so beautiful, and I easily get too hot. So that was my whole idea. So I am thinking of just going. I measured on a different t-shirt. I think I am going to go almost to the edge of my what do you call it, where the belt is, the belt, what do you call it, the waistband. Oh my god, my English is really pretty bad this morning. I'm sorry. It's Monday morning, so that's my excuse for for getting it wrong, so I apologize. The waistband. I'm considering going down to the waistband, and then starting the lace. And you're supposed to do 2.5 um, times the lace. Maybe just doing 1.5 because I don't want it too long. But it's a matter of trying it on, taking it off, trying it on a bunch of times. I haven't blocked it, which also is something I'm considering whether I should do that, because it could. I have an inkling that this yarn may be growing a little bit because it's so soft as it is. It does seem like a yarn that could potentially grow. So I don't want it to be too long. Maybe, yeah. You know what? I'm talking myself into probably blocking it. It sounds like, it does sound like that could be a good option to do. So, okay. I might do that, and then I will start on the sleeves, but I think I'll knit the body first. Also, I'm thinking when I run out of this yarn, before I shift to another ball of yarn, I might actually just do the I-cord at the neckline just to be sure how that fits. I think I definitely don't want it to be tighter than it is here. It's beautiful as it is, but I don't want it to be smaller because then it'll be too tight. So I might, and it also suggests in the pattern you can go, I think, pick up 2 stitches for every 3, or you could pick up in each single stitch. And I think I'm definitely going to pick up in each single stitch. I'm even considering not going down in needle size when I do the I-cord edge on the neckline, just to make sure that it doesn't sort of cinch in. But we'll see about that. I'll test it out when we get to that point. But it's growing nicely. It's just I feel like it's been fast because I haven't given it much attention. Well, while I was waiting for my daughter to come by to try on the black sweater, I definitely got a lot of stuff done on this. And of course, when I move into the lace, it's going to be a little slower. So that's of course going to be something I need to take into account. And lastly, I don't think I have any more finished objects, but then I want to talk just a little bit about my trip to Amsterdam. I went there with a friend and we had the most lovely trip. We had really nice weather, except for the last day where it rained, but that was the day where we were going to go home. So that was fine. I weren't there. I wasn't there for visiting yarn stores or anything, but I managed to visit 2 anyways. The first one was, and now it's me in deep water trying to pronounce it. I think it's called the Afstap, or something like that. I'll pop in a photo of it if I have it. And that's a little cute yarn store in the middle of the little busy streets. Before I went, I had decided that the only thing I wanted to come home with basically were sock yarn. And that's maybe a little boring, but I don't need huge quantities of yarn at the moment. I kind of wish that I did, because especially the second store I visited, there was a lot of temptation there. I wasn't that tempted in the first store. Also, what I see a lot I saw both places, a lot of Danish yarn, which is of course great. I love that for my fellow countrymen, that they're able to sell yarn all over the world. I think that's pretty amazing considering how small of a country Denmark is. So that's great. But it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to go to Amsterdam to buy Danish yarn. So I definitely did not look much into that. But they had quite a few brands here and there. But I had decided already to begin with that I wanted to buy, and it's not a Dutch brand, and you can definitely get it in Denmark. Lang, Javol, it's called, and I had to look up because I was so confused. I think I thought at some point that this was Dutch yarn, and it's not. Definitely not. And then I thought it's probably German. It's not. It seems like it's Swiss yarn, which I think is pretty amazing. And I've used this, I mean, for a ton of other projects. But what's special about this sock yarn? Let me see if I can dig it out. That I haven't tried. Oh man, I can't. Can we get it out? No, I can't get it out right now. But you can see you can see if we can focus for a little bit. Can we focus? If I pop my head out, maybe you can just see it. It won't really focus. There's a little image of a little little thing of thread, and let me see. No, I can't seem to get it out. Inside of this, there's a little spool of thread which is meant to use it for the heel and the toe, which is what I'm going to do this time, because I talked about this before, that where I seem to wear my socks out are basically at the toe. And I chose this just dark green color. And I think I bought 2 skeins of this. The reason I bought this was I was going to buy it anyways at some point in Denmark. And I think, I mean, this is silly, but I think I could save a little bit buying it in Holland. The euro price is a little better than what I can see in the stores in Denmark. So I was like, I might as well, because then I can support this local store and go in and buy it there. So that's what I did. So I bought 2 skeins, pretty inexpensive sock yarn, but a lot of people swear by this particular sock yarn. So very excited. And I think I'm going to do probably follow a pattern by Summer Lee that I have bought, and then I might do some pattern on it, like maybe some broken rib or something like that. I think could be kind of fun, because just pure vanilla is almost too boring. And I don't want to do color work with this. I think that makes it look like it's a Christmas theme almost. So yeah, I'm just plain sock yarn, which I'm actually really excited about. And then the day after, we went to Stephen and Penelope. So Stephen West has a store in Amsterdam, quite big yarn store that I managed to film a little bit in. I will pop in the little video in the end of the footage. The first store was pretty crowded, but I think I managed to get a little bit of film in, and I'll definitely include it. But I'm always, when I'm out and about, I don't like filming people like up close who have not asked to be in my video. They were very nice in both stores. They were so friendly and no problem. But I just try to be a little discreet about it, because I wouldn't necessarily like that somebody I don't know is filming me when I look at yarn. I mean, that just seems a little bit invasive. So the only people you see in the videos are sort of a little bit away. So I felt like that was okay. But Stephen and Penelope, that store, I mean, my friend who's not knitting told me, I almost want to start knitting now. Oh my God, I can't believe that you didn't buy half the store. This is amazing. I think because, and I was trying to explain to her, I mean, the love of knitting for me started out as just the love of having finished garments I could wear that I made myself. And now it's just as much, it's such a sensory experience. And I think that's why we all are victim of going into a yarn store and coming out with too much stuff, because you get sort of bombarded with the only thing that's not there is smell, I believe, unless there's smell of sheep connected to some of the yarns. But you get bombarded with the colors, the texture, it's a sensory experience almost. I mean, it's more than just your eyes. It's like your I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? If you knit, you know exactly what I mean. And so she was pretty overwhelmed. So she sat down on a couch and was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so I was looking at a bunch of yarns, and I wanted to come home with sock yarn that was a little more colorful, variegated of some kind. And I was going back and forth, and you can see in the film that I was also looking at some hand-dyed yarn that looked really amazing. But it was so light, and some of the darker colors, when things get very variegated, it can look a little too crazy to my liking. And I ended up with this, and this is Sauberball. Crazy is what it's called, by Schuppel, I think. And this, I believe, is Dutch yarn. I think. Is it? I think so. But anyways, I think you can get this. I mean, that's the thing about most things you can get everywhere. You don't really need to travel to a different place. But for me, this is about when I knit up these socks, I will remember that these are my Amsterdam socks. And the same thing with this, even though I could get it at home, I know that I bought it in Amsterdam. That's the whole deal for me. So these are probably going to be just pretty plain vanilla socks. I have some other red socks so they might look quite similar to that, but I just thought it was so beautiful, and I love all the red variations of color in it. So yeah, I'm just going to go for it. Probably not going to do a lot of pattern when it's variegated. I feel like it's drowning if you do too much stuff. It actually looks great just with just a plain sock, maybe some ribbing that could look good. But yeah, so those were my two purchases, and then I bought something which I think is fun, which is a little bell for my bike. And just as Copenhagen, Amsterdam is a crazy bike city. And I mean, with my Danish eyes, and bear with me if you're Dutch, I mean it with a lot of love, but you guys are kind of crazy on your bikes, because what I realized, and I had to go in and look it up, I mean, not to be all sinister, but there were a lot of bike accidents, like fatal bike accidents in. I think it's like 10 times as many as in Denmark, which is a little bit crazy when you ask me. But what I noticed is, I think I saw 2 people with a bike helmet in the 3 days we were there, 4 days almost. That doesn't seem to be a thing. But on the other hand, people go crazy fast. A lot of electrical bikes. It was quite intense. I mean, I wasn't scared of being run over by a car in Amsterdam, because there's very little car traffic, which is amazing. But oh my goodness, I mean, the bikes were coming from all places, and I'm even used to navigating in bike traffic in Copenhagen. So that was surprising to me, that was pretty intense. But love that people bike. I mean, that's amazing. And all these little streets, it's just, with all the tourists and stuff, it did seem a little daunting to go that fast. But anyways, maybe I'm getting old. But one thing I noticed that I don't see as much in Denmark is there were so many stores, and I know it's kind of touristy and a little souvenir-like, but there's so many little bike bells for your, or what do you call it in English? Yeah, it is a bell. It is called a Portland bell. It's designed in Amsterdam or in Holland, and produced in China, I think. But it's designed in Holland. And there were so many different models to choose from. And a lot of them said Amsterdam. And there was a little round cheese thing, which I thought was hilarious. It was sold out in the store that I looked. But then I noticed this one. And I have a bike that's sort of rose colored. I have no idea if it looks good on the bike, but I'm hoping it does. It's like an old fashioned bell. I hope it's not too loud. Oh, that was, let me see. I need to do it this way. So pretty neat sound, just old fashioned. It seems like a really sturdy, good quality. So I thought this was a good little souvenir from Amsterdam, because I don't see these. You see them for kids. You can get a ladybug bell. You can get all kinds of little cartoonish bells for the bikes, but they're for kids. I haven't seen as much in Copenhagen. All these funny shapes and forms and beautiful ones and pretty ones, and you could get some that look like pottery or porcelain colored, and I mean you could get all sorts of stuff. I don't see that here, so I figured this is a little bit of and that's the type of souvenirs I love. These are the type of practical souvenirs that remind you of a place. So you can use it for something. It's not just something for looks. So that was my purchase. Oh, I forgot. This is a bummer. At the Stephen and Penelope store, I wanted a little memento from the store. So I bought a little measuring tape, like just a tiny one that says SP on the outside of the measuring tape. So it's like one of those where you roll it out. And I thought, this is so practical. And I put it in my little project bag, which I also brought with me on the plane and knit it all the way back home. And when I got home, I have no longer any measuring tape. It apparently must have rolled out on the plane and I didn't hear it. I've tried losing stuff like that before on the plane. And I know you're supposed to look around, but it could have rolled under the seat or whatnot. I didn't notice it. So I was a lucky owner of that measuring tape for about 24 hours and then not anymore. So that was a bit of a bummer, but at least I still have the yarn, and that's the most important thing. So, yeah. After this, I think that's all I have to share with you. But I loved Amsterdam. It was such a beautiful city. I've been there before, but not as long as this time. And it was just a great little break from everyday life to go there with my friends. So we had so much fun. Before I just show you the little clips from Amsterdam, please subscribe if you're not already. That helps my channel out. And then I will hopefully see you in my next video. Take care.